In this Civ 6 or Civilization 6 video, like a guy's first time, I'm giving one quick tip for every leader in Civilization 6. Let me know in the comments any other secret tips I might have missed, and let's get started. For Macedon, get military tradition and keep your pisses clumped up together. The 50% support bonus makes them virtually unstoppable on the defensive. For a Minotaur, beeline a worker almost immediately, as getting 1 Nubian pyramid and 2 mines over resources gives you an early pantheon like religious settlements and some extra yields from her abilities. For Ambioric, spam your unique unit and stay at war. You get free culture for an early oligarchy, and with 1 promotion, their ability makes them stronger than swordsmen, making them viable for up to 3 eras when spammed out. For Batrio, forward settle a city and then declare war. Once they send your armies to your cities, you can wipe them out so fast you'd think they were playing America. For Basil, don't build hippodromes. Lock them in until you get your Togmas, then 1 to 2 turns later, you can build all your hippodromes and boom, you have 8 to 12 units immediately. With a couple siege units, you can wipe out everyone within sight. For Black Queen, rush your enemies. With 1 Diplo visibility, you have an extra 3 combat strength. Just make sure you send a trading post so the AI doesn't get that advantage back. For Magnificence, just your festival project. That is all you're going to need, so you better stock up on those luxuries. After the first war for Chandragupta, pillage everything in the last 2 turns before your War of Territorial Expansion Casus Belli wears off, make peace, and then repeat for more yields and faster conquest. For Cleopatra, get the Great Bath with the Apocalypse game mode and some soothsayers, and that'll end up giving you infinite faith without having to worry about pillage districts. With Cyrus, focus on internal trade routes and your unique improvement for the most possible culture, while beelining cores and armies to get an early domination advantage. For Dido, Archipelago, Kothon beeline. With your bonus to government plaza buildings, that all adds up to about a quick 150% settler production boost, making settlers super easy to get. For Eleanor, both of them, if near Yerevan, you'll get early relics and a head start on loyalty reduction. For Germany, attack city-states early on, but don't take the cities. Park your units near it and then praise the infinite experience. With Gandhi, you want to declare war, pillage and kill a couple of units, and then 20 turns later, they'll practically beg you to take their cities because of the war wariness. For Genghis Khan, put other cavalry civs like Scythia in the game. You'll have more units captured than you'll know what to do with, making domination a whole lot easier. For Gilgachad, military alliances give you a total of plus 10 combat strength, which is absolutely game-changing as long as you're on par in the tech tree. And as a bonus tip for Gilgamesh, if you want that peak human specimen type of body, just leave a like and subscribe for not only that, but to also not miss out on future content. For Guitarja, you want to build some early scouts and ignore getting the skirmishers, just so you have as many escort units for your jonks as possible. For Gorgo, you want Alhambra, Fascismo, and the Forbidden City with the Oligarchy Legacy bonus, which will give you the best late-game domination civ you will ever play. With Hammurabi, it's literally everything. Just everything. With Harold Hardrada, you want to get the 50% pillage policy card, and then just pillage. Don't take any cities, just pillage everything for the fastest victory you'll have ever seen. For Hojo Tokimoon, with the Theater Square and Holy Site bonuses, you want to focus on early culture while getting the Crusade religious belief to get early and stronger samurai earlier on. With Jadwiga, you want those hips, the Sukiansis production gives you 20 production with 10 traders, easy to get, and it's great when building wonders. For Jayavarman, you want to get the River Pantheon, which is always the best, giving him housing and amenities for every holy site on a river, allowing him to get to that 20 population power spike for each city a lot sooner. For Zhao, the more civs in the game, the better to get as many traders as possible. For John Curtin, you want to build units until they have 1 turn remaining, and then delete the units after you make peace. It's kind of risky, but it almost guarantees you get multiple war declarations early on, and with the 1 turn until you have your military units ready, you'll be able to get those units out, counterattack, and with that double production boost, you'll have 10 turns to build whatever you want a lot quicker. With Christina, you want to settle as many cities on different types of terrain. With Christina, you want to settle as many different types of terrain as is possible, because the more you're going to settle, the more culture you'll get from your open air museums, allowing you to get upwards of 100 culture. For both Kublai Khans, you're going to want to get trading posts into an early war to get that Diplo visibility advantage. For Kupe, you're not going to want to build a lot of builders because you're going to get more yields from unimproved resources anyway, and that production can be used elsewhere. And by resources, I mean terrain. For Lady Thick Thigh, I mean 6 guy, you want to declare war and then stay within 6 tiles of your capital for easy kills before advancing. Especially strong when you have your unique archer, Hulcha unique unit. For Lautoro, you're going to want to take an early capital and then use a governor, and you'll have another super city to take control of the game. For Mansa Musa, monumentality is probably the biggest thing you're ever going to get, because on top of the Sugubus gold and faith production reduction cost, you're also going to get another 30% from monumentality. For Matthias Corvinus, focus on getting one city-state and throwing everything at that instead of going for multiple, because if the AI does end up getting suzerains back, then you're going to lose all those levied units you so upgraded. For Menelik, if the Incans are near you, that's going to be a really easy conquest, since they'll have most of their cities settled on hills and near mountains most likely, giving you great campus holy site adjacencies, and with your 4 combat strength, it'll be a lot easier to take than usual. For Montezuma, you're going to want to stay at war permanently with a couple of city-states to ensure some free builders throughout the early game and some extra experience you can use when you finally go to war in the mid to late game after you get enough luxuries to get a 4 to 8 combat strength boost. For Mvimba, put Yerevan in your game and watch the easiest victory of your life, as you'll have more relics than you'll know what to do with. For Pakicuti, housing and amenities are your limiting factor, as you'll have more than enough food and production to get by, so maybe beelining neighborhoods earlier on is going to be the best option. For Pedro, the Street Carnival project is extremely underrated. It gives you a huge amount of great people points, and with your unique ability giving you a 20% refund on your great people points, you're going to want to get that snowball going as soon as possible. For Pericles, the more cities you have, the more acropolises you have, which means more suzerains, and the extra 5% bonus to culture later on stacks with your Surrounded by Glory ability, meaning you'll have the most culture in the entire game. For Peter, you want to ignore science and culture in the early game for the most part. Just focus on faith and getting out as many settlers as possible, because once you get enough traders, you're going to get that science and culture back with interest. For Philip II, play a TSL Earth map without Portugal and no one on the New World. Therefore, you can send early settlers to colonize the New World, giving you great bonuses towards trade route production and having a free continent to yourself. For Poundmaker, you want to place traders in a position that'll grab all the tiles you need, which can save you some money and is especially effective if the AI forward settles you. For Qinshi Huang, you want to beeline the pyramids and maybe feudalism if you have enough culture for all the charges you're going to get for wonders, meaning one builder can build one wonder all on its own. For Robert the Bruce, the entertainment complex must come second, because the faster you can get 5 amenities, the better your game is going to be, since you'll get a lot of great scientist and engineer points, and you'll have 10% boosts in science and production. For Arabia, you're going to want to ignore religions early on, since you'll always get a warship building and always get the last great profit, meaning if you focus on other stuff like production, cities, or even military, you'll still be able to get that religion, all while having a better early game than most religious civs. Siondiak's probably the one tall civ in the game. You're going to want as many tiles for each city as possible to get your 3 kingdoms mines and farms, as well as have Siowans all by themselves for the rationalism policy card boost. Not only that, but you're also going to want less governors than usual, meaning you're going to want them more fully promoted to make use of her ability, which essentially all points to her being a much more tall civ than a wide civ. For Shaka, their cores and armies are absolute monsters with the extra combat strength, and you get them earlier and build them outright or build them when taking cities, you're going to want to beeline those technologies immediately. For Gran Colombia, don't be afraid to pop your Comandante generals early on if you need them, because the later you get on in a domination game, the easier the domination's going to be, as you'll have way more yields, science, culture, and everything than the remaining AI, so you're going to need that bonus a lot less than the early game, so again, don't be afraid of popping them if the time is right. For Suleiman, don't fall in the trap of building early game catapults. Even with the Great Turkish Bombard's bonuses, it's still going to take you too long to research, and and they're still going to get damn near two-shot by crossbowmen and city centers. In fact, the only reason you should build Great Turkish Bombards is in the mid to late game after you have bombards, ironically enough, researched. Oh boy, this is gonna be hard. Go for a golden age before going to war, and since you're going to be at war, it'll be a lot easier to stack golden age points, letting you chain together golden ages a lot easier than normal. For Bull Moose Teddy Roosevelt, you're going to want to focus on early faith to save up for national parks later. Don't forget, all national parks give +1 appeal, meaning one national park can snowball to multiple in the right situation. For Rough Rider, you're going to want an early trade route to a city-state on your continent, get some nice suzerains of that city-state, and then declare war on everyone who has cities on your continent, and that extra manpower, the meat shield if you will help you take over your continent a lot sooner than usual. For Tamiris, you only really need 2 to 3 Saka horse archers to whittle down the enemy units, while your horsemen who use the 5 extra combat strength on wounded units can finish them off for a free heal. Saka horse archers are really weak units. They should only be used to damage enemy units even a little bit so that your other units can get the +5 combat strength boost. For Trajan, you're going to want to build cities as close to the enemy as you can get to set up a good road system for the invasion. With free monuments and the Legion plus Oligarchy combo, you are an unstoppable force until man-at-arms come on the board. For Victoria, Workshop of the World is amazing for early wars. With +4 iron per source, you'll have so many units you won't know what to do with, and you can always sell off the excess in the early game to get a lot of gold, meaning that'll help out your economy tremendously. For Wilfrid Laurier, settle on the outskirts of Tundra to get some early tiles to work away from the Tundra, and then once Tundra tiles become more viable towards the mid to late game with your last best west ability, you can buy those tiles on the cheap, west of both worlds, without having to work on some scummy early game Tundra tiles, but you'll still get the benefits of the late game monster Tundra tiles Canada can get. And finally, for Wilhelmina, if you are going to go for an early war or use your unique frigate unit to go for a war, keep 2 to 3 traders on standby so you can use them to prevent that city from rebelling after you capture it. And that's going to be it. Again, let me know down below what other tips you might have, and leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on future content.